Welcome to the season finale of the Hydeout. Season 1. We want to wrap up the season with all the season finales of these great shows that we got, that got lined up. So, it's going to be Loki, season 2, season finale we're going to go over, and then we're going to go over the Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
Final chapters.
Final chapter, part 3, part 2.
So, it was a long time coming, and they finally, finished. So we're excited. Again, it's our season finale. So stay tuned. Hopefully, tag as many people as you can. Get as many people you want to talk about. These last finales. That we got to enjoy. So I'm super stoked. We're gonna talk episode 5 and 6. We're just gonna skim through 5 and then mainly concentrate on 6. And then again, finale of Attack on Titan. So hang in for the ride. Let's get started. We're going to go with the news like always. We have some really good news. The writer's strike is off. I wish I had like the whoop.
It'll be in post.
Yeah, post production. Pop, so it's done. It was after 118 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So 118 day strike, the longest one in the 50-year history of the industry. So it was again pushed back so many projects. It hindered a lot of things from being done. No promotion. You didn't see any of the actors like talking about Loki. They couldn't nothing. I mean, again, what was it? Blue Beetle lost out on promotion because he couldn't talk about it, but family could. So it was a big. We talked about one of the episodes. That he couldn't. Be in the post or something like that, or they thought it was his post, but it was his sister's.
Yeah.
So super exciting. I'm glad that it's over. I don't know. They don't have the details to the deal yet, so that's will come later for sure. I'm excited about that. Again,
definitely.
Because we now have confirmation that Deadpool is the only movie that's staying in 2024 as far as MCU. We haven't heard anything Superman Legacy or any of those. So James Gunn, is pretty active on Twitter. So once someone tries to probably do rumors or whatever, he's
gonna either shut it down or confirm it.
Yeah. So one of the two will probably happen. So I am not too worried about that. But that one all of them got pushed back. So slated were these movies here. Then just follow me on the dates. We were noticing that they were coinciding with the dates that they were like previous, movies were done.
One movie would release this day, got pushed back, but another movie took that date now.
Yeah. So the first one again was Deadpool 3, the only one that's going to stay in 2024. It's going from May 3rd to July 26th. So only a month or so, month and a half. So that's not too bad.
That's not too
bad. The other ones get worse as we go on.
Yes.
So then the next one is Captain America: New World Order, right?
Yeah.
Still is New World Order.
Yeah.
From July 26th to February 14th, 2025. So that got pushed back almost a year, 6 months. Yeah.
Yes, like
6 months or so.
Yeah.
So
a little over, like 7-8 months.
So that one was pushed back. Thunderbolts still in development. December 20th, 2024, and went back to July 25th, 2025.
Yep.
So that's 6 months for sure. And then last but not least, Blade, the most controversial out of all that, besides Deadpool, is February 14th, 2025 to November 7th. So that one was a whole 9 months pushed back.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Again, it was all due to the strike. With the strike that that was going on, that again put everything on hold. We literally were just getting all hyped for Deadpool.
Yeah.
They were on the set, you know what I mean? They got the
pictures,
the pictures of the set. We got Fox, destroyed in the background, the Fox 20th Century or whatever, and boom,
then everything just fell.
Psych! Whoosh! Like
it's the Deadpool who.
The freaking they did the table trick and it all fell over. It didn't,
They didn't train enough.
Yeah. So it was rough. It was rough, guys. So I'm glad it's over, and all those are all back on schedule. Anything else in the DCU or anything that comes out, again, you'll be in the know. We'll let y'all know as we know, and then so on and so forth. So if you want to go on with the next piece of news, it'll be...
All right. Dogpool has been confirmed by Ryan Reynolds himself to be in Deadpool 3. Now,
I have no idea what Dogpool is.
I mean, basically Deadpool, but dog I guess.
He's gonna be telepathic.
Honestly,
I need to research. That's
I need to do a little bit of research too. I
So-
don't know. I'm thinking so because I'm like he has to be prevalent enough to be in the comics somewhat, even if it's just a couple cameos.
Mm-hmm.
But Deadpool's presence has been like so big,
So
everybody knows about him.
Again, going through the multiverse, due to the little what is it, time thing that.
Right. Cable.
Yeah, Cable's time watch. But what was her name? Supersonic, right?
Which one?
Teenage Warhead.
Supersonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah. So she fixes it, and then Ahiko's like, I think you messed up. And she's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's crossing the multiverse again. He was in talks with Miss Minutes on Twitter. So Ryan Reynolds was talking to Miss Minutes, so that's gonna be interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Then next piece of news, we're running through them because again, we're wanting the action-packed part of the show to be about the shows that we watch, the season finale. So we're running through the news. So if it feels rushed, just so you know, if it feels rushed.
Other piece of news: Demon Slayer season 4, according to some leaks, is set to be released on April 2024. So I'm thinking that might be a good timeline, but I feel like it's too quick of a turnaround for how fast it was. Unless it's another short season. Like I'll be cool with it, but
and not mess it up by saying it was a split season. What I mean?
Yeah. No, the way they ended it right here, like they ended the arc right, but the next season, I don't know where exactly they're gonna end it.
Okay. So where it ended, would you think that then coming out in April would be an injustice to how much still needs to be talked about? Is that where you're worried?
A little bit, because I'm like, they give you backstories on a few people, and then it also leads into some of the final arcs.
Okay.
And
so thinking of coming in that fast would
miss and then it's like, I'm more worried about the animation for it, and I'm like, granted, there's not
this one was.
This one was top notch.
Yeah,
this one was amazing.
I was like, cannot complain about that one. So.
The news portion is fave.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, June. And yes, sir. Coming up to the season finale. Again, I'm glad you're tuning in. Again, answer anything. Let us know what you think. Your opinion on things. So that way we can chat it up. Today's gonna be a good episode for communication as far as
these last
last episode, mind blowing episodes. I'm ready to get into the talks with it. So thank you for tuning in. Next piece of news will be Logan. The writer for Logan, Michael Green, was confirmed, right? Is now for the appointed for the new Blade movie. So got a good writer, I'm assuming. I didn't have no complaints for Logan.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, have you seen it?
Yeah.
But no, Logan was written pretty good.
Yeah. So it was a good culmination again, and I keep hearing back and forth, but that one, is still gonna be canon. So
I've heard something about that too.
Talking about that being canon. So again, I just want to know how these guys are keeping it all together. You know what I mean? He had to hold that convention, right? Like a Marvel convention where all the writers went and talked about what the next 10 years was gonna be like or something like that.
Yeah.
So dude. So I'm pretty sure they have to be in the know, all of them at all times.
Oh yeah,
so.
You have to keep everybody up to date because if you change one little thing, it could domino effect into everything else. So.
Yeah, so again, it goes into what we're going to talk about today. And you can get the last one right quick.
All right. Well, you would leave it to me. The Marvels at the this time for opening weekend is tracking to be the lowest in a while, tracking lower than Black Widow and Eternals, with 140 million worldwide. I read also that it was doing worse in pre-sales than The Flash and Black Adam
before this movie came out.
pre-sale.
So
I'm like, it's not doing too hot right now, but you know.
But again, when I saw Rotten Tomatoes, it wasn't the worst one out of Rotten Tomatoes. So you know, I don't know. And then also the comments were pretty good about it. The ones that I was reading, they were like, you know, shockingly good. You know, a lot of praise to Amani.
Mm-hmm.
So she said,
I told you,
she's
gonna
be
be
the glue. They said a lot of the comments came to her were like, you know, she's the glue to the trio. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to see it. So again, if none of you fans have not seen it, go tune in. That will you know, kick off our next season. We'll be talking about the Marvels and then whatever's next after that. You know, so it's been a busy a few weeks as far as releases and what was going on. You know, Loki is married to the woman that portrays the main antagonist for the Marvels. So they're married. Okay. So the season finale and Marvels came out, you know, so they were praising them about it. So that was pretty cool. When I saw that piece of news, so you know, again, more power to them, you know, for the couple, you know. So June says Rotten Tomatoes is hard to trust sometimes. Yeah, again, it goes by. Again, there's an audience score, right, and a critic score, right.
I try to pay attention more to the audience.
The critics, you know, again, they see it in a different eye. You know what I mean? They're
because they're trained to be like, okay, you got to hit certain beats, and are you making something? Like, are you putting a new spin on something, basically?
But where I get at is, you have some that are like, how do I say, like, they contradict themselves all the time. They're like, we need a new piece of, you know, movie, you know, cinema. We're tired of this superhero thing, this and this and this and that. And then, like, someone comes in with their own, like, piece of, you know, movie cinema, and they're like, man, what, you didn't do a good flow, and, you know, so they just kind of, like, you know, contradict themselves when they, you know, get that new piece of taste. Because I think, you know, and, you know, I'm missing movies, or I won't even know all his movies, but I know I've seen them. Jordan Peele's movies, you know, the horror movies that he's been putting out, they're different, you know what I mean? They're different, you know, that's why, you know, they're all good, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean, like, you know, a different eye, but a lot of people bash it, you know what I mean? Like, oh, why would you, you know, put a spin on that movie, Candyman or whatever, you know, what.
Dude, I like the spin, though. That was actually interesting.
Again, it was a good, I think he's a good writer as far as, you know, and then it wasn't the alien one that just came out? Nope. Yeah. So that was
good. I actually would rewatch that a few times.
That one was a good one. So, but alrighty, guys. I'm excited.
Into the meat of it now.
Into the real show right now. The like finale and finales of the finales, you know. So I thought that was pretty cool to end on, you know, all finales. You know that I planned it that way. But so
it was a discussion, and we're like,
you know, I am he who remains, you know. So it was started from the get, you know, episode 1. I knew where we were gonna land. But
you gotta start season 2 off like that. Be like, I am he who remains.
I'll go find a purple robe, you know, and put the little gold piece, you know.
You're like, our season ended, but we came back.
You know, you can't stop our seasons. Alrighty, so we'll just touch base on episode 5, and then we'll jump into you know, the episode 6 season finale, because again, hiatuses that we didn't, you know, foresee, or we did foresee, but we didn't say to you again we're terrible at. Again, apologies.
Sorry for that, guys.
You know, we will get better. You know, making sure y'all are up to date, because again, it's crucial. You know, y'all are our fans, and y'all know what we know. So that way, you know, the community can continue to grow. So I apologize. So again, thank y'all for being with us patiently, and let's go. Episode 5 was called Science Fiction, and then that one was
it's science
slash fiction. Okay,
There's
sorry.
a difference.
I'll read exactly what the prompt says in bold, bold lettering.
It's there for a reason, and you still skipped it.
So it was. I thought it was crazy to see again all these branch timelines that they were showing, like of all the individuals.
Yeah.
They have Stay With Me. There was 4 of them, and it was B-15 was New York. She was a doctor in 2012.
I have the biggest problem with hers.
You why?
Because it's New York 2012.
But branch timeline.
It's still New York 2012, even with the branch timeline.
How
many Avengers?
How many times?
Avengers.
Yeah.
That's like the whole Avengers thing, like 2012 New York.
So you're merging a thought. Is that what you're saying?
For me, I know it's like a branch timeline, but I was like, branch timelines still connect somewhere. I was like, so where along the line did you disconnect, and why are the Avengers fighting in New York?
So you think like Doctor Strange, all those like millions and millions of opportunities, there's had to have been more opportunities where there was an attack on New York in 2012?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the many worlds theory, it's just like every choice you make branches off and creates a new thing. So I'm like, I drank this water instead of that water, and because of this choice, this one I'm doing right now, but that choice, another whole branch is right there, but it still stems from
Isn't that what happened on the Quantumania? What is it called? Oh my goodness!
I just heard it too. What is it?
Something affect the possibility.
Yeah, the possibility thing or whatever. Fudge. It's like right there, but I
know it's right there.
I gotta find it. You can keep going. I'll find it.
So with that happening, they it was every thought that could happen was becoming a reality. It was like coming out in front of them, right? So okay, so yeah. So she was New York 2012.
Still having trouble with that one.
Like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. I kind of saw it as in that reality there wasn't an attack on New York, or it wasn't that time yet. It hadn't happened.
I guess you got a whole year, so
it hadn't happened yet. So
it's either happened before or after.
Before or after? Okay, yeah. So no, again, it was. Nah, I wouldn't think it would be as calm. I think it would be more chaotic if it happened after.
Well, we don't know how long after.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then, the Casey is the next one, and he's a prison inmate escaping from Alcatraz in 1962.
Yes.
So.
Good shout out.
That one. So yeah, I was like, what was his name?
Frank.
No.
Oh.
No. Frank Casey or something?
No,
Frank, we'll give you the right one, guy. We give you the right news. Loki. I thought it was
Frank Morris.
Frank Morris. So there we go. Born Frank Lee Morris. So that one was a shout out to an actual person that apparently escaped Alcatraz, and in that, and it was again speculated, that he did because they never found the bodies or whatever.
Yeah, there's 3 people that escaped. They never found the bodies. They have the old school movie with Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz, and
seen that one.
Oh, it's actually pretty
really
good. You should actually watch it. It's really interesting because they show like the whole setup for it and everything.
Okay,
but. I knew exactly what it was when I saw like that scene
where he was underneath the bed. Really? That was like from the movie.
Yeah, like
no way. Okay, that would have been badass.
It's so cool.
Okay. See, so that's what I get for not knowing that. Seeing that movie. But yeah, so he's escaping from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And then went to Ouroboros, where he's a failing Pasadena sci-fi writer in 1994. And I thought that was funny. He's like, oh, it's by, young and talented,
Oh, yeah.
writer,
You better hurry. They're selling out quick.
She's like, you.
What's sad is when he talks to Loki about it too. He's like, my books aren't doing so well, so I had to become a professor. And I was like, that's how you know you hit peak level of like, I know what I'm talking about in this book, because you're a professor teaching all this stuff that you're describing in your book.
Yeah, just to be certain on what you're writing.
Yes,
You know what I mean? I'm
yes.
not just writing this. I actually know it. You know, the science.
Like, I understand
it. Yeah. So then I went to our final character, which was Mobius. He was Don, and he was in Cleveland. So modern day Cleveland,
2022.
Right?
So
That's
it was after the snap.
So he was in Cleveland. He has a family. He had 2 sons,
Yes.
and a wife that died, right?
We don't know. Like,
I think you mentioned.
I think they said she's gone, but we don't know if she passed or if she got hit with the snap.
True. When did they bring back? Didn't they bring
It
it
was
back?
2023.
No. Did it? Was it 2023 in
I'm
Endgame?
pretty sure it was 2023. Because it was a 5-year later, everything. Let me check.
Oh my goodness. Timelines. That's again the name of the game.
Oh man, come on. Okay, it was called the blip when they left, but what was it called when they came back? I thought it was called the blip when they came back.
Okay. Well. But guys, it was intense. So they were all they all didn't know him after. I think that's what was going on. They were seeing like the shop. Ouroboros started the shop. He that was the only one that he stayed with, right? Because he was like in and out, time slipping between all the little areas that he was gonna, like a foreshadow, and then he landed with Ouroboros, right?
Yeah.
And then Ouroboros was like, what was he saying? He was basically brought in this book, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
he's
should
like,
read my book. It sounds everything like you're talking about is what's happening in my book.
Here.
And then that's when you realize, he was the, scientist still. Loki was ecstatic, but with all science came fiction, right? That's what he was saying. Like, the what and the why, the how, or science, and why is the fiction. I like what he said that. Do you remember when he said that, Ouroboros?
I'm trying to remember if it was said exactly like that.
Like,
yeah, it sounds like something.
Why you always gotta one up me and remember word for word, bro?
I don't. That's why I said I'm trying to remember.
Let me make sure exactly what it says.
No, yeah, I think you're right.
Good, guys. We're all good. So does it say what when
I'm
did it give?
I'm trying to see it, but it won't bring it up for me. 5 years later in 2023.
So it was in 2023. So
Yep,
it's
so it was we saw
so it's
movies
still
before they
having
brought it back.
tense. Okay.
See, I'm members. You don't have to read it, dude.
No, I'm going on. So
I was playing. I said yes. You're right.
No. Reading facts now, guys. We're gonna go word for word here, guys.
So then he remained blinked, and then he opened his eyes.
And he said, quote, let's see.
Exit stage left.
Like when they did that, it said that one part where he's starting to try to learn the time slip, and he's like doing it had the Da Vinci song or whatever, and then he couldn't do it. Like he's like doing all kinds of dances and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty freaking funny. And then let's see, so Ouroboros doesn't just help Loki with the science aspect of the quest, but with emotional beats that might be necessary to complete his journey, the why of it all. So, and his solution. He said that maybe having their aura or something like that, the temporal aura,
because he was saying that like all of them together could possibly realign the aura to take them back to where he needed to be.
To like kick jump his why, you know what I mean? Like kick start the why, and then if they were all together, it would happen,
Yeah.
So then.
And then Loki goes on a quest and try to get everybody.
Yeah, and then so he gets everybody, and Sylvie recognizes him.
Yeah, nobody else recognizes
him. Nobody recognizes him.
Sylvie has memories of him.
And that was like, I thought that was funny when he was like, hey, I think this is going to be crazy to hear, but, she's like,
I was there.
He's like, what? This interaction went completely different, than what I was going to think, than I thought,
Yeah.
So it's that was pretty funny. So she hits him with reality in a way, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, again, she's just stuck on this, like,
I want to be free.
I want to be free, like, let me be, because I did what I did, for this reason. You're just now trying to be that person differently, you know what I mean?
You're trying to take his place now.
What is it? Take free will. You're still trying to control free will. So, that part starts getting pretty crazy, and the fact that, she's just adamant that, it's not right,
Yeah, she wants people to have their own choices and everything, but Loki's like, you have to have some control of something. He's like, you could still give people a choice, but sometimes they need to be guided on that choice,
Yeah. And so goes back, right, because she doesn't come.
Yeah, she doesn't come, and so he goes back to the other four, and he tells them, he's like, you guys could just go home.
Hyped them all up that they're, they're gonna save the world, for they were needed for all mankind
to be there,
and then nothing, like, left in the in the dust, so what's his name was refusing to leave, and then it goes back to Sylvie.
Yes,
and that was a trip. So do you like that? Do you like that blip factor instead of the dusting? It's like the string spread. That looks pretty intense.
It looked cool. So, it looked good.
So I enjoyed that. So I thought, again, it goes a little bit more serious with this one, I think, because this was like being torn away from reality. You know what I mean? So that was pretty trippy. He's like, this will either cure it or make it worse, the dude at the shop, and then that's when all the things starts getting like tripped out,
when he offers her the music,
trippy. And then I thought it was cool, the little she just escaped that reality, you know what I mean?
At the very end, like everything's crumbling in and she just has enough space to stand, and she just bloop, and then she goes to Loki's area. Dude. And it was just like her having to give it one final look. She's like, my home, because at that point she like,
because she was already accepting living there. Like, she was a worker that established that life because that dude knew her, you know what I mean? So that was a trip, that was a trip to, see. So that right there was a moment of reality for her to know that they needed to do something, you know?
They needed to step in.
And then they all get spaghettified, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they just all get, started getting threaded little by little. Again, reminiscent of the blip, the dusting.
Yeah.
And then he does that, like, weird, like, yell and then, like, warps it back.
Yeah.
And then he's replaying that moment.
Yeah, he goes right back to when everything started to...
That conversation when she walked in, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude.
And then he's like, I mastered it. Yeah, dude.
And then that went on, blipping back to the, the explosion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was episode 5, guys. So, that was, again, Loki was well written in this, into this, portion. Wow. We got, right on my notes here. So, they, thank you. On to the next one. And so, well written, guys. This was just done right this way. I think this time.
I think it was done very well. They writ it where you could still feel the emotion and everything.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. We are now on a show that didn't go from 4 to down. We went on a 4 to the upward slope.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
this one just kept on building.
Yes, thank you. Like
granted, episode 5 was a bit slower than 4 because that pacing kind of halted.
Where he was.
Because
finding them and like having to explain them.
He was having to explain everything.
Warped.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was basically doing the Nick Fury for his people in TVA.
You can see that.
But I'm like that hype build up for episode 4, and then it like episode 5 was like kind of like a little bit up because it was just like now you have to get everybody else again, but it wasn't like that jump again. But then episode 6 came along and it was just
through the roof. Through the roof, guys. So again, now we get to the real nitty gritty. Tune in, chime in what you think. Your own opinions. This is the finale of Loki season 2. The episode 6 was Glorious Purpose. Again, Loki ended up, doing, justice. So,
Loki
I'm so ready to talk about this episode.
It's an Ouroboros, man.
Well, it was insane. Alrighty, guys. So,
do you appreciate the title though?
Yes. So, Glorious Purpose recycled its title from the very first episode. All the way around.
1.
So just came full circle and. We'll get to the reason why. So it was starts right off, and that's what I appreciate about this show. Every episode left right off where the previous episode left off. Like there wasn't a little window of what happened in that little space.
I mean, they still give you the previously, but then you could choose to skip that if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But then right after that, it immediately picks up.
Do you skip the recap?
No.
Okay.
Because sometimes the recap will show something different than what they
to give you a bigger perspective.
Yeah,
that's why I do it too. I was like, I do the same way. I was like, I really want to skip it, and sometimes I'm like, why is it starting here? Why do I need to know this wasn't? Why do I got to go to season 1 like that?
Right?
Started on a recap of season 1. So it was pretty crazy. So let's see.
It was good, guys.
It was good. He finally got control of it, and when he got back to that moment, he asks Ouroboros, right? What was it that we did wrong? Was it that moment right off the bat, right?
I think he's like, I think he's like, what did we do wrong? He's like, we were too late. So then he keeps going back and replaying that thing, and he's just like,
and just faster, just and then he does it 5 or 6 times. He does it quite a bit.
Well,
and then
from what we saw,
from his perspective, true that. And so what happens? He's like, I gotta go further back.
Yes.
That's when he realized, okay, it's not in this instance; it's a little bit further.
Yeah.
And so, Lord knows, like you said, how many times he did it. So he kept going back, and it was just pretty crazy. You start seeing people catch on to his.
Slowly, they're like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about?"
Yeah. He again, you know what I mean? Again, So
every time you see Timely just spaghettified, he's like, again.
And I like the music again. The writer of this, piece, I don't know her name, just wrote the music perfectly for this show. Like the mood for the show,
it had that I want to say it's a sci-fi thing, but it's also that tension build up, it doesn't make you feel comfortable.
Kept you on the edge of your seat type.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what it did. Literally, she enveloped you and kept you in. I can only imagine how that sounds like in surround sound.
Oh yeah.
If I had a surround sound system that how it would
put it
sound.
In theaters.
Man, straight up. Let's see. He then I think he gets to the point where he had to learn science, right? Like he
Yeah.
went and he's like, what do I gotta do to know the mechanics of the science? You know what I
he's
mean?
like, what do
So-
I have to do to understand everything you're doing? Like the mechanics, the engineering, the like science behind it. And he's like, how long will it take? And OB's right there. He's like,
Long time.
like decades. And then I love Timely kind of pops in. He's like, centuries. And it blacks out centuries later. It's like
comes
okay.
in, no. So like,
Yes.
imagine like,
And then
geez.
Casey's right there being like, I don't know how you got so good at engineering all of a sudden, but we need to test it. And then Loki's right there just like, it'll work.
It'll work. Like, so that's crazy. Again, the dedication that he was taking on
Dude, centuries.
to and grow this loom.
Yeah.
And then that was pretty crazy. The build up for that was where he finally gets to the end of the walkway, makes it, drops it like he says. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, I know, pick it up. I like how that part's all calm.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Great. You're wonderful. Like
Yes.
so all in monotone.
Just be brave. And then I what's his name? Jonathan Myers?
Yeah, Majors.
Majors.
Mhm.
I don't know why Myers came in, but his portrayal as Victor Timely, I love Victor Timely. Like, just give me more of him. Like that episode, like I love the way he acts as him. Like, don't get me wrong, he
like
remains,
stuttering and all that,
and
yeah.
his mannerism. I was just like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. But then you have He Who Remains, and the contrast between it, just like,
and that's what I love.
damn,
Again,
like he is
putting
good.
them on the same screen at the same time.
Mhm.
It shows you his range. You know what I mean?
definitely.
And so we'll get to that part too. That one was pretty interesting. He finally makes it down that runway, loads the throughput multiplier. And I love how it's always sticky.
Yeah.
Like they're like, hit the
Push
green
it.
button. He's like,
Push it. It could
it's
be a bit
sometimes
sticky.
sticky. He's like, hits the freaking
Yeah.
green button. I like how it makes the noise.
Yes, yes. They did it the first time with Loki
Even
too.
with the model, right?
Love it.
So it hits it, and I thought that was cool.
You
Again,
could see
like
it.
warping into like a bigger,
Yes.
thing. They were confident. They were like, it's expanding. It's working.
It's working.
It's like actually, he's like,
He's like,
centuries
did it
against
finally.
centuries
Yeah.
to get that moment to happen, that specific moment, and then to that moment just be washed away, saying that it's still overloading. You know what I mean? And then the math comes into play where they're like, you can't withhold infinite. You know what I mean?
because he's like, it's too much. He's like, they keep dividing infinitely.
You
And
can't divide by zero.
Yeah, you can't divide by zero the same way you can't multiply by infinite. There's no, it can't fit infinity in there.
So,
and it was just like, he's right.
So from that moment, they were destined to always get there when she killed, He Who Remains. And so, and that just sparks the whole, full cycle, that, I now gotta go further back.
I gotta stop her from killing him now.
Like,
I gotta go to-
they're right. There's, the only way we stop this is, not killing He Who Remains.
Yes.
And then he goes back to that moment, and I thought that was cool.
Yes.
Where like he does like a little shift, and then he's in that moment in time.
That body.
So I thought that was pretty cool, and that gets pretty intense. Where like he's like going back, you have to kill me, and then that's when I knew stuff was getting real. Like that was the one moment in time that was set in stone. Is you have to kill me if you don't want me to kill him, you know what I mean? So they kept going and kept going. See you soon. I like that replay of that. See you soon.
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness, the coldest.
I love
that coldest line, bro.
The one that got me was when Loki and her fighting for like the 6th time or something.
In the elevator?
No, that one was good too.
See you soon.
No, but the one that got me was when Loki grabs her arm and she's like right there reaching out, and he goes, "Oh, so close." I was like, this dude.
Again, and then to see his range, like go from that to Victor Timely.
Yes.
Again, it might have been a different day in film, but again, being able to change mannerism, to change character, So this guy is completely different from Victor Timely, like Victor Timely says, So, but yeah, I know which part where I think like she spins right.
Yeah, and she does that. Almost stabs him.
Yeah. So even when she throws the knife and he holds it with his force,
but then she like pushes it herself.
Man, dude, that's freaking intense. So he plays that out, and then what happens at one point? He realizes, he stops the fight or something like that, right?
Yeah,
and he asks him, I believe.
He pushes her, he spins her around and everything, and at one point he turns around to He Who Remains, and he's like, why don't you ever fight back? Like, seriously, like, why don't you stop it? And then that's when he's like, oh, okay, we're here now, and he pauses her. And I was like, oh, so he was just, he's like, he's already done this. So he's just waiting for you to reach where he is.
When that happened, I was like, this mother dude right here, like, it goes back to, again, he failed safe originally anyways to give the book to Victor Timely for,
He's like,
so
it's all going to have to happen.
Yeah. He's like, who do you think paved that road? You know what I mean? Oh, man. I was like, yo, this just got like deep.
It was so good the way he does it. He's like, no matter what you do, you end up here. Like, there's no escape. I was like, damn.
Look, I was blown away. I was sitting there, I was like, no way did this guy just think further. And then tell me if you got it. And I'm not even gonna lie. If I understood it. So the loom is to control everything outside of the sacred timeline, right?
Yeah. That's why he was saying too. He's like during that conversation when he pauses Sylvie and he starts talking to Loki and he's like, "Oh, what did Timely say?"
Oh,
I love how he's making fun of himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, that's you.
That is you. Like you sent the book. Like that is you."
And then
ruthless.
He's like,
but again, switch like mannerism that little bit.
So good. And it's funny because I'm like, that stutter wasn't the Timely stutter. It was a sarcastic stutter. But it just like, you would feel like coming from him, it will still show Timely a bit, but it didn't at all.
It was a mimic.
And I was like, dude, like, he was really well done with how he played it. I was like, dude, I can't. But yeah, the throughput multiplier, he's like, it's not a scaling thing, it's a fail-safe. If the timelines start branching out too many, it's going to prune everything at once except for the sacred timeline. So it's going to end up being where we are again, no matter what you do. He's like, the TVA being destroyed,
that's just collateral. Yeah, it's collateral. We can make another one. That's nothing. Oh, my God. And then that's going to give them the ultimatum, right? He chooses the very first conversation. Let's see. Comes up with the words to so he's seeking counsel. He comes up to the words to rewrite the story of the entire multiverse. He gave him that option. You either kill her or you sacrifice the loom, right? You give up. You blow up the loom. Yeah. And so he goes back right to the it says here.
I love how when he pauses Sylvie and they're having that conversation, he's like, but she is an eye shot. And she's gone.
He's like, because she was an eye range or something like that. Let's see.
He's like, I don't even feel like looking at her. Speed read, man. Speed read.
Oh, yeah. So he goes back to that moment because he doesn't... he doesn't know what it takes to make the hard choices. That's what he remains like, putting in his head.
Yeah.
Was that like
I'm here to make the hard choices. Nobody else can.
And then it goes back to even further, right? Like, no. That's when it goes That's when he goes to Mobius. When on the very first season, he like goes back to season 1, and he's at the desk, and he like again, it's always Mobius that catches on like what's going on like right now, but
like, why are you changing?
Yeah, and so he was like, you're gonna ask me about this, you're gonna push that little button, it's gonna play my life, I'm not gonna worry about it, but how did
and how do you make the choice
to prune, and it's like we have no choice, right, or something.
He was like, because that's what the sacred timeline or something wants and everything.
Oh, the timekeepers.
Yeah, the timekeepers. And he's like, well, that's what the timekeepers want. And he's like, outside of that, he's like, you make the choice. They don't. You choose to prune. And then he tells that story of
the 15-year-old boy or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was an 8-year-old boy who killed 5,000 people because he was a variant. And that was never supposed to happen, but 2 timekeepers go back in time, and one of them couldn't prune the boy, and other variants started popping up and everything, and that
was the first time it broke the threshold, right, or something like that.
Something like that, and then so the partner went in and pruned the kid so that way it wouldn't like go out of control, and Loki like puts it together. He's like, okay, so you couldn't prune this person. He's like, what about your partner? And he's like, oh yeah, she did fine. She went on to become a judge and ended up being Renslayer. And it was just going to show that like Renslayer can make those tough choices. Where Mobius, I'm like, even with their mind wipe, they still have that core in them. Because he's like, I can't prune a kid. It's like he's remembering his sons that he had from his original time. So
I was tough, bro. When it got like boiled down to be a Renslayer, I was like, man, like, what are the chances of this? Like, wow, just like full circle. But he at that moment realized, like, thank you.
Yeah,
I needed it.
I know what I needed to do with this. It just popped into my head right now, but he remains, or he's like, I'm here to make the tough choices and all that. It's just Thanos. The hardest choices require the strongest wills. And it was just like, dude, like, they're just...
It goes back to that. Yeah. So his is bigger.
Yeah.
He's in trillions on multiversal,
Yes. Kang is like so much bigger than just
Thanos was one universe, trillions, This is universe.
Like whole universe is like so many people.
Trillions upon trillions. So then it goes to that Renslayer moment, speaking of her, right? Where she was pruned and she was at the...
I thought that was at the end.
No, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was at the end. Well, you're thinking about... he goes to Sylvie after Mobius. At her... at the...
that moment in time where they split, get spaghettified, right?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out where it was, but I couldn't remember. It was like Mobius' little workshop thing.
In 1984, 94 or something like that, right?
OB's little workshop thing. Yeah. And then everybody else gets spaghettified, and then... Oh, before we got that, I love how he remains... He's like... when he pauses everything, and Loki's like, how'd you do that? He's like, oh, you haven't learned how to stop time yet?
And I figure he in that real instant, like, just stops it.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, well, let's play it out. And then Loki just... And it pauses all again. He's like, how do you know this is the first time we have this conversation? I was like, ooh.
Dude, that again, it was so well written, bro.
It really was.
Like, this... It blew my mind because we even missed the part where he was like, looping through time where he was the one that was there, like saw a person over there holding a book. He goes hello, and
it's himself.
It's himself. Like, oh,
you guys missed that?
Bro, like, huh?
You guys missed that part?
No, I'm saying like we didn't even talk about it just right now.
Oh,
on the
from
show, like,
episode 5.
Like, man, bro, like that was just insane. Like, and he had the book, and like, it all just, fell into place. Like, it was just insane. Just so well written. Then he goes back to that moment. He stops that moment.
Yeah, he stops time and Sylvie asks him. Like,
it rewinds it, right? And then like it all attaches again. Like it was spaghettified. He rewinded it to where it was normal and it was just them two.
Yeah, they start
talking. And then he lets her know like it happens because you killed
him. And but if I had to fix it, and then she's like, it's for you to kill me.
Because that was her ultimatum. Like, the only way I won't kill him is if you kill me.
Dude, I can't help it. I don't know if you ever seen Ozark, but
I never have. I've been recommended multiple times.
I started it. I think we got to season 2, and then like I fell off because everything else was going on. But there's this one scene where the girl's like, "If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill." And the way she screams, "Kill me!" I'm like, every time I heard her say that, all I was playing. I was playing for him. Yes.
That's funny. I need to see it. So it's like on season 2 or what?
I think that one might be on. I think that one might be on season 1. Ozark is like 4 seasons.
Okay. Yeah, I've been recommended multiple times to see it. I personally haven't seen it. So, let's see.
But she's like, you have to kill me in order to save the timeline.
And she says that little witty comment. She's like, well, I'm not gonna. Greet you with open arms or something like that.
She's like, if you're asking permission, then
I'm not gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
So that was the moment he realized that he's gonna go back, right? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, like
he's like, I can't kill her. He doesn't want to. He's never wanted to. He's always wanted to protect her.
There has to be a way.
Yeah, and then I think that was when he figured out. He's like, all I had was 2 options: keep doing this in a circle and continue until I choose the other option of killing her. And then like He Who Remains said, it's you kill her and we see what we can salvage. But then Loki's like, there's a third option, and that's when he goes off and
he goes back in time, goes back to that moment.
Yep.
Walks down that freaking thing. Oh, that moment,
the transformation, dude.
Oh, bro, that was just the build up, bro. Like, because I didn't understand why that the startup screen for the play screen, was Sylvie and Mobius like looking through a window. And when they played that part, I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about the opening scene with the Marvel studio.
Oh, played backwards?
Played backwards? Dude, that was cool.
Bro, thank you for bringing that up. I was like, I told Brianna that. I wish I knew if the score was played backwards.
I think it was.
That's what I was wanting to say.
When I saw it playing backwards, all I was doing, I was like this, trying to hear it. I was like, it's playing backwards. It doesn't sound the same. It sounds off.
Yeah.
So I was like, the offness
the negatives.
Playing,
yeah. Oh man, dude, I'm telling you, they wrote this so good, bro. Like they really thought about everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
they went hard.
And then it goes back to the one with Victor Timely back in 1819. Was that what the name of the episode was? Where they went back in time and they had the 1893.
Yeah.
They had the little music box entrance. You know what I mean?
love that too.
So dude, it was. Yeah. So yeah, that entrance is bad.
The Marvel Studio was actually green too. So.
So I was like, dude, that was perfect. I thought that was so cool. So then he goes out there. He doesn't even use the throughput multiplier launcher or whatever. He breaks it.
The safety thing, the astronaut suit,
and then he doesn't use the launcher. He breaks it with his powers.
Oh yeah. He uses his powers.
But that was after what you were saying, like. The horns get, made, like the shirt and everything is, blown away.
It turns into the cape and everything. Yeah, dude.
Man, and then after that, he blows that loom up, and
everything just
turns dark.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that was dope. Like,
and then it's just like you see them, they're like, they kind of look at each other and they're like, oh, and
in disbelief.
Yeah, Obi's like, the branches are dying, and you see Loki like grab one and like does something where like I guess he's like pumping magic through it or whatever, and then he just starts grabbing a few and just starts trying to like I don't know if he's trying to gather them and he's just pumping in his magic,
and then this part, guys, was just absolutely like, again, the cinematography, the music, the build up to this moment was just like, I was sitting there like this. Oh, no way is this going. I was like, oh my gosh, like, dude, I was just sitting there and, you know, I had to clean my sofa, you know, my mind was blown, you know what I mean, like, it's all black there, you know, so he tears a rift through, you know, space and time.
Yeah.
There's a green rift. That's the only light that's beaming through that window. You know what I mean? They, you know, see him grabbing all, like you said, all the timelines. And I thought that was, again, such a cool representation, because now it's distinguished away from the puff or the, you know, the you know, dusting. This was like lines.
Yeah, it's like actual
and, you know, strings. And he, you know, was walking up those steps, bro, and then that was just so cool. You know, the, you know, steps were being created into, then the throne.
Yes. And then the throne, like, you could see the gold going around it to create it.
Dude, I was just like, he had a throne in the end. Like, that was his purpose, like his glorious purpose, bro. Like,
he was born for a throne, remember?
My goodness, bro. Like that image of, you know, where he's dragging him, and then like he like chest closes, chest presses those cords.
I can't help it, but there was that scene because I saw the cape, and while he was going up those steps, I was like looking. I was like, he has timelines on his cape. I was like, how the hell did he connect those? You see him grabbing some, and I guess whatever, just randomly hooked up. But when he goes sits down, that motion where he like flips them all behind him, and then just it's like that trail. And I was like,
it reminded me of Doctor Strange's like demon cape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that was a pretty sick moment in the small, you know, grim things of that movie. But that cape, you know, so. It was so epic, dude. Like, it was awesome. Just throwback, like you said. Just sat on that throne,
and then that, like,
and then that chest press, like that chest, you know, and then the inversion, you know what I mean? Like the transformation of it showed the sacred timeline, right, and then the multiverse. And then him with the strings together,
like
and
kind
then
of flipping it,
and it flipped right, and I thought that was, again, the cinematography, the build up, the green, the effects on his face, like, you know, everything was just like, holy crap. Well, I'm sorry, that was on the mic, but my goodness,
dude, but he created the world tree. I was just like, damn, like. And then you could see, like, I don't know if it was universes popping, like, I was like, are those incursions happening when you see the little explosions?
I don't know.
Are those universes being created?
Created that thing, like, just coming growth, like, because it says then it switches to the TVA.
Yeah, like after that, after him sitting down and
let's grow together. Or
and you see them like watering the little tree.
I thought that was freaking again. Yeah. So then that right there, that culmination, turns into. The overall, like, TVA just completely changing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was the, you know, him being able to hold both and have everyone's has their freedom, I believe, you know what I mean? Like, again, let's grow together. It shows how at peace everything is. Everything is in a good motion. Scoots over to B12, seeing Casey make missed minutes. Ouroboros, Obi, he's like, well, that thing, you know, what, kill us?
Yeah.
No, I think not. Yeah, you're not reassuring, you know what I mean? And so, believe they're the only ones that know, right? Because then that's when Mobius walks out and was like, yo, I think I'm gonna gonna call it, you know what I mean? Because they were like gonna go to the war room or something.
Yeah.
So I think they're the only ones that knew.
Like,
the rest of the TVA had,
they're just accepting that it's a new thing, but I think
Mm-hmm.
the only ones that know it was Loki who fixed everything was the five.
Yeah, and so he ends up choosing to go back, goes and sees where he's at in that moment in time again,
Yeah.
like that he never skipped a beat,
Like right where he got taken out from.
and B-15 really was gonna miss him, and then that's when Sylvie shows up, and it's like, it sucks that Loki's not here, to experience this. Is different, you know what I mean? She still has the watch because she just boxes out of the time door or whatever. So she kept, He Who Remains watch, and then the outro of Loki carrying that burden of hearing all that, you know what I mean? And
just him, like all the stuff moving around him, like he's surrounded by this.
So then they make that into, again, what I've heard is it's a big arc that connects to Secret Wars. So they said that his name is now Loki, the God of Stories.
I don't know about that one, because I mean, I know the God of Stories is more newer, so I might not know it as well.
Well, because it is newer because it tied into the Secret Wars, and the Secret Wars came out in 2015 according to the post I read.
Well, I don't know, because there's always Secret Wars, Secret Invasions, or sometimes they redo something
different arc or whatever, maybe.
So, but yeah, the Loki God of Stories, he could rewrite stories entirely. So there's no need for him to take that throne and do all the timelines. He could basically say, "Hey, there's no more He Who Remains."
But that's what he came in to do, like in full spectrum.
No, but like the God of Stories could rewrite all of history, so He Who Remains would never be able to. Like his story is completely taken out. Loki would change. God of Stories would change that story. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Okay. I like the little snippet where they make sure that they throw in Kang 616 variant was taken out, you know what I mean? So now the TVA is all against the Kang variant.
Yes.
So me and Bree were talking about that, and we think, that conversation on Quantumania where they are finally touching the timeline, or the multiverse, this is where it comes into play, because now Loki controls the multiverse because he's allowing the growth. So that is where he comes into play in the Secret Wars or whatever because of that, you know what I mean? So man, I think they're gonna go after Loki first, and then that's when he's gonna go and I personally think he's gonna create the next Avengers, you know what I mean?
Because I know there's a comic thing for it too, where there's Avenger Prime, which is Loki basically where he's sitting now, like outside of space and time, and like watching everything, but like to protect. I don't know if he's protecting from Kangs, but like my brain's going there because of the Kang right now. But like basically pulling together Avengers from different time periods and everything to fight off.
So kind of like a what if?
Yeah.
Ooh man. Oh snap. So yep, we got that, and then before we even forget that. So what do you think happened to Renslayer? So that now that we were back to the end of the show, so Renslayer gets zapped, right, and then that goes to the Citadel where the Goliath is, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what color Goliath was? Because I don't think it was purple, right? Because she was seeing a glow of purple.
Yeah.
I want to say there was a reason why there was a pyramid. I really want to think it's Brahma Tut.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, why was there a pyramid? They showed that pyramid. There was nothing. There was nothing in that background. There was a pyramid, and I was like, it glows purple.
Yeah.
So everything that was in purple was the timeline. Yes. So I think Rama Tut was coming into that specific moment in time because she was again a key character in the war.
Yeah, I think you have to be right with that one because I'm like I remember him almost being green for some reason, but I think that was when they destroyed him.
Same. I kept replaying that moment, and I think it was when the old Loki, does the glorious purpose that whatever Emerald said the same thing. So I feel like it was green, but so that was where my mind went.
All the color purple is normally associated with Kang.
Kang, yeah.
So
and the a tear or whatever, you know what I mean. So so I think that is a big factor. So I think that pyramid was important, and she's gonna still come in later as far as the next shows and stuff. So, that was it. They basically go off. He stays in his hometown to finish out life, and we see again Loki with a slight smirk with a tear in his eye that he's being able to allow them this free will to live and do the choices, as well as probably all their variants. Every version of themselves. So guys, I mean, again, it was done right. Finally, like it was done good. It was done good. Again, there was a 4, a 5, and a 6. So there was not a stagnant. There wasn't a downfall. It literally culminated to where it needed to be, and finished and gave Loki the ending he deserved. What I mean? So pretty intense. I truly appreciate it. I hope they don't stray away from the story. Again, what you were talking about earlier, that they're trying to write out Kang for Doctor Doom. Again, that's a big speculation. I don't know if it's confirmed. Kevin Feige hasn't confirmed that. But that is a big talk, and I hope they don't, man.
At this point, it makes it worse for me for them to do that, only because I could see
the dedication to Victor Timely, to He Who Remains.
He was just so well done. His acting range, I was like, you could get multiple Kangs out of this guy, and it wouldn't feel the same. Like you could tell, okay, yeah, that's the same person, but that's not the same person. Like his range difference, he could be several people, and it just it wouldn't the one from Quantumania felt threatening. He Remains didn't feel that threatening, but you could tell he had a bit of he was still behind him. He was still had that animosity. But then Victor Timely was the nice.
So who is the one that died? Now that we're talking about this, he said Earth 616 variant is dead. Mm-hmm. He Who Remains dies due to Sylvie, and then the one in Quantumania dies, or so we think. Gets he's
gone.
So who do you think is the Earth 616 variant that was dead?
That's the thing. I'm I don't think we've seen it yet. I think that's a setup for later.
You think so? And see, someone said a commenter said that they're using this as its failsafe to ride out the Kangs, so Doctor Doom could be the next. I was like, ooh, I didn't think about that. I was like, why would they say that? Now it's in my head. I was like, that would be perfect. That would be a Marvel thing to do.
They're we're keeping all the Kangs in line, so now we need a new big bad. Oh.
So, again, one of the, fellow streamers said that, he's worried about Doctor Doom because he's such a OP character in the comics. He's like, they can't one and done him. They can't. It's a 10 movie culmination or more. You know what I mean? And he said that he has to have a prominent presence in each one of those movies, not just a cameo at the end or a walk in. He in 10 movies, his powers grow exponentially to give him the justice that he deserves. I was like, so all right. I was like, all right. I didn't think it was good. I knew he was powerful, but
Doom is strong.
So, to build that character, I would assume,
I mean, he's one of the few humans that could hold the Infinity Gauntlet.
A human,
Yeah, not very many can. Like, I know Doctor Doom is
based off of what the Collector says. Yeah, he's gotta have exponential strength or something like that.
Yeah, like something entirely different. But I know he.
But it was after the mutant thing, right? The whole mutant gene or whatever.
Who, with Doctor Doom?
Yeah.
I
even though he's human,
like even with the mutant
Space
gene,
Cloud or whatever,
like it can't. He's still physically human, even with the mutant gene. Like only people like Captain Marvel, who has the ability to absorb energy, could probably hold it differently. But as far as I believe, I don't think I could be wrong. But Doom, I don't think has the ability to absorb energy. I think he's able to like change it somehow.
Okay.
But
interesting. Alrighty, guys. The moment as well we've been waiting for. Intensity was there. It was how many years? 3 years after? No, a year after the other one.
No, it came out in March, so it's been 8 months.
8 months? Okay, that's right. From that one was how long?
That one I think was about a year. Yeah.
A year, right?
About, yeah.
So, Attack on Titan, it finally is done. Another masterpiece, honestly. It was done so well.
I'm glad you like
it. Right off the bat. Like, right into, like the artistry, I was seeing, the comparisons from manga, anime, and, they just brought it. They brought it,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the Rumble was just a massacre, dude. Like, and then again, it showed it all. It showed the, I think it was on the first part before the finale, where that kid gets crushed, his friend, like, just seeing his friend dead already, but then his brain, like, and his teeth, I was just like, goodness, man, like, they spared no expense.
You went back and rewatched it?
I watched it a little bit. I was like, I need to refresh, and just watching that first 15 minutes, it hit me, I was like, okay, I know where we're at, you know what I mean, because he was making that apology, you know what I mean, so, that same little kid, you know what I mean, so, it was pretty intense. It was
sad, man.
Let me tag this person one more time. Let them know that we are talking now.
Yeah, guys. I hope y'all liked Attack on Titan. I was telling David earlier, there was a coworker, and he didn't really care for Attack on Titan too much. He said the story was interesting, the characters he didn't care for. And if you, like me and him discussing it, I was like, if you can't like the characters, as good as the story is, you won't care for the story. Same thing, I'm like, you
needed the closure on the stories, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, for the characters, I think.
Be back, guys. Water!
Well, that was him. He commented. Yeah, the other guy, he can't have a good story with bad characters, and I think you can have bad characters with a good story. It just won't hit as well. But the story is just like, it's a central theme of it, but the characters guiding it have to make a big part of what the story is. That's who you deal with most in the story. So I'm like, you need to be able to develop both at the same time and not just focus on one half. I think he went to the faucet. Don't die out there.
In the dark. Alright. Again, new to the water drinking game, guys. I don't want to drink water. The bladder can't handle it. All right, so you were saying if he doesn't have an attachment to the characters,
Yeah, if you don't like, I just repeated it right here. I'm like, if you can have a good story with bad characters, but it like disconnects them from the story because you spend so much time, like the characters are what draws you into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Now the story could be good, but if the characters don't draw you in enough, you're gonna not care. Now you can have
So you're this one overall thing got that guy. He was able to like be drawn into it.
The ending, he was just like, he's like, it was really good. I liked it. I liked the way it ended. He's like, I'm thinking about rewatching it again. And I was like, now that's how you know it was a good ending, because I was like, he didn't care for it, but for him to have to go back and rewatch it all just for the ending again, I was like, yeah, it did good in my eyes.
Chalk one up. So same. I mean, now that it's completely done, that's one I can see myself rewatching.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, from the first episode, like you were just like, whoa, like, what just happened? They were just tweeting the birds, little in the folds of green, and a tree in the field, like, and then death, like just immediately just death, So I would do the same. Honestly, again, it was well developed arcs on every character. Everyone had his backstory. Levi, being one that had an intense backstory. Found out later in later seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to again feel the heartstrings pull when like one gets taken out or they're injured or whatever. Their resolve wasn't made. They died before they
before they could accomplish
you're just like, oh, like damn, like really was rooting for homie, what I mean, or whatever. So yeah, I agree on that 100%. So again, this finale did that just right, you know what I mean? Like it made you like, whoa. There was thought between all the episodes that you're no longer mad how long it took, to come out. You were like, thank you for giving me the masterpiece that we have waited for.
Thank you for doing it right.
And so, just right off the bat, when I ask, was it manga oriented or was it?
Oh yeah, no, it was
to the end.
Yeah, all the way to the end, all the way through the credits.
Okay, cool. So there wasn't it wasn't just it wasn't based on their own writing. Then it wasn't.
No, I mean, of course they took some stuff out and like tweaked something here or there, but like it wasn't big enough. Like I had to go and like re-look at everything to see exactly what they took out, and even then it's like vaguely in my head what it was. But yeah, it was.
Oh, you went and like looked on the manga. Okay. So, again, it goes back to, it was 3 chapters, right? So the first one was part 1, the Battle of Heaven and Earth, and then it was. Oh, that's where right off the bat it takes Aaron, right? Arwen, right? Aaron, the little like occupied thing, like grabs Arwen because he's like Armin. There we go, Armin. I was saying Arwen. Jesus. So kick me off, guys. Kick me off. Signing out now. They,
we need a new co-host.
Hiring now. They swallow him, and they right off the bat knew that he wasn't injured because any slight injury would have
he could have activated
the thing. So that was like something that I forgot. Like they took him, I was like, oh my goodness! Like it's right off the bat, you're just gonna get this guy and the key component to the plan, and they snatch him. I was just like, son of a gun, man. And so they kidnap him, and then that's when they start seeing these, what would you call them, like ghost titans?
Oh yeah,
like
the Titans from the past.
The Titans from the past, right?
Dude, those are so cool to see animated, man. Like,
was it pretty cool in the comics?
Oh yeah, when in the comics, dude, when I saw them in the comics, I was like, oh okay, and I like was over there like, that one's this and this one's that, and Who's that one? Yeah.
Because they all took a specific shape, right? Like they like
Kind
each
of
one was like.
The Jaw Titans are normally smaller and more agile. The Cart Titans always, the Armor Titans always have some form of armor. Like you saw that one that looked like
a knight. There was one that had a knight, right? There was like masks. They were the ones that were shooting.
Oh no, that one's the Warhammer. The one with the knight, and they're able to create with the bows and arrows and everything. Dude. Oh. The one that looked like the Thing was the Armor Titan. They had looked like rocks on them and everything. You had the Attack Titan, a couple of them. You had the Colossal Titan, Berthold's Colossal Titan come in, and dude, it was cool to see it all go down like animated style. It was just like, on the manga, it was just cool to be like, oh damn, like
this is intense.
Yeah, but then animating it with the score behind it, that's
what I'm saying. The music makes such a big deal. I love the ones that like make fun of it, whereas like music is important.
Oh yeah,
and it's like I can't remember. It was one where it's like Voldemort and he's like touching his head and all that stuff. Baby, come back! I was like something like
maybe it's Maybelline.
So like music is crucial. So the score to it, just made it that intense as well. I can only imagine again going from black and white to full on color animation, like the pan arounds, you know what I mean, like it was doing like that,
Dude, like just being there, because I told you that's how I sometimes read the mangas and stuff, the books, like even word like just regular freaking books, like my head would create the image. And I'll just like panoramic, like 360 bird eye view. I'm like, okay, I can see everything. But like, it's so cool to see it like in the actual anime. So I was just like, it's not me doing it, it's you doing it.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see it actually done.
Bro, they did it so right. I think again, just the gear, the regiment, where the scouts had all that stuff, their movements were so cool. Like they portrayed those movements through the air so flawlessly. It looks like it's supposed to happen. It doesn't like have a weird background. Yeah. It's just just freaking intense.
It's awesome.
Like again, the only scene, realizing how different again yours was to see it like in your perspective. Oh man, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Then it was right there where it goes to then all those Titans, they start battling out a little bit, and it goes to Armin, right, where he's in that dimension and he's like screaming. That was freaking intense.
Yeah,
where
he's in the past.
Yeah, but it took a little while for him to realize that he wasn't unconscious, he was in reality, but in the past. You know what I mean, like. But that just like, wake up, you need to move. Like, that was insane. So to have that moment of realization, like, you're a key character. You're always a mess up, you know what I mean? Like, you never do anything right. Like, move, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, move your body. So when he goes to that path, he doesn't see... what's the name right off the bat, right?
Yeah, he doesn't see Zeke right away because it was just like a separate... He was almost separated from him, and then he's like... When he realized where he was and everything, it kind of like connected everything together.
And then what did he realize? Like, because his body disappears, and that's when like he realizes he was in reality in a way, and then he sees the girl, right?
Ymiria.
Ymiria, right, and realizes that was the purpose of the tree.
Yeah.
Was that, right? And then that is when he turns around and sees Zeke there, right, playing with sand.
Yeah.
And what'd you think about that? Like, where like the sand became like a city. Did you notice that? Like he had already built or made the castle or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But he was morbid. Why? Like, cause he'd given up, right? If I'm not mistaken. Zeke.
Zeke had given up at that point. He's like, it is what it is. He's like, I had my chance to try to command Ymir, but Eren connected to her a way I couldn't, and now she follows him.
And explain that to me. If that's one thing I probably don't remember a lot, is that right there. He takes the will of Homegirl, right? Like to, wipe out everything.
Yeah, he Eren?
Eren.
No, what it was is because Zeke is of royal blood, she still follows his orders. But then when she was going to commit the orders, Eren had ran to her. I think he even like rips his thumb out of whatever shackle he had, and he runs up to her and he like hugs her and he's like, "You have a choice. This isn't what people are going to do for you. It's what are you going to do for yourself now." He like gives her. He basically gives her an option where she never had one before, and he connects with her like on a like you don't have to if you don't want to level, and at that point she's like, well, I'm not gonna listen to him no more. I have this one with me. I have somebody backing me up now. And so she decided to give Eren the power to be able to do the rumbling and create that giant skeleton.
Interesting. That's the part I forgot. Like I was like, what is this girl? Like I know she's key, but I don't remember where part she came in.
She is the founder. She's the
original one. The original from the tree.
She created the tree. Like
that's where the powers come from, is the tree, right?
Yeah, like if you go back, I forget what episode and everything is, but they give her backstory. She used to be a slave, and because she let some pigs out, they're like, oh well, we'll let you free, but you're gonna be hunted, and that's what the king said. So while she's running, she got an arrow on her shoulder, and she finds this huge tree with an opening, and she goes in there to try to hide from the people hunting her down, and she falls into this well or whatever underneath the tree, and that centipede thing that glows that's connected to Eren, that connects to her, creating the first ever Titan. She like busts out like half decayed almost looking and everything, and the king takes her back and is like, well, you can help me pursue my thought now.
And I was ruling, right?
Yeah, ruling and then taking over he took over Marley and everything first, and they expanded, they created roads, they did everything, and he's like, you're gonna be my concubine now.
You're nothing other but to serve me.
Yeah, and so she serves him, and she has 3 girls to him, and 13 years after she originally got the power, somebody came in and tried to assassinate the king, and she jumps in front of it and she gets speared like through the heart, I think. And the king is very very like, oh, get up, that can't kill you, I seen you take worse. But at that point she's like, I don't want to do this no more, and she just kind of like lost her will to live. But the king was like, well, I'm not losing your power, and forced his daughters to eat the mother, so then the Titan powers from her transferred to the 3 of them.
I don't remember any of that. Oh, jeez, definitely gonna rewatch that. Definitely gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing I wish we would have been able to see. Like, give me the daughters. Let me see their original forms, because at that point, with 9 Titan shifters, they now each have 3 each in them, because they were the only 3 with that ability. And then
they each had 3 more.
Because the mom technically had the original 9 shifters. She was all 9 in one. But now when the power split, it would have been 3, 3, and 3 for the one for each of the daughters, which would have been cool.
To see
and I was like, I would have loved to see how they designed it.
Okay.
Like, that's something I wish I would have been able to see. But the names will just ring familiar because it's Cena, Rose, and
the 3 Waltz?
Yeah.
Well,
Cena, Rose, and Maria.
And those were the 3 daughters.
Those are the 3 original daughters.
So then, during that moment, okay, so now back to the homegirl. So now I know what homegirl is. Now we're back to Zeke. that's when Armin kind of convinces Zeke, that it wasn't the culmination of life. It wasn't so much the bigger picture, but the smaller, like, meaningless things, as far as, like, that made moment special.
That enjoyment of life itself.
Yeah, enjoyment of life itself.
Yeah.
And Zeke kind of, like, finally starts thinking outside of it, thinking outside that realm of that, thought that he was in for however many sands of time, that he was there.
Yeah.
And that's when he then changes because he again controls the shifters, right? The zombies, the ghosts.
Yeah.
Because he's a part of the founder, right? Because he's one of the main bloodline, and then he he's taken out as far as, like, from that cocoon he was in that sands of time from the realm, and he appears on one of the horns, right?
Yeah.
But it was after everything started changing, right? The field started changing. They were like, oh snap! They're now helping us. Bearholtz, attacked someone and stopped the attack.
And all of them started helping. So yeah.
Double O Badger says, "Yo, dudes, sorry I missed y'all. Just got done seeing the Marvels. Oh, all right. Well, we won't talk about that now. That is next episode. So remember that movie. We're ready to definitely go over that. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm planning to see it maybe next Tuesday. Like you said, so. That's a good day to see it. So, oh no, maybe. So, but again, don't say anything. I'm ready. I'm avoiding spoilers.
Yes.
I can't even be on my Facebook because they're already, again, comicbook.com is just... Dude, on top of it. I hate it. Like, put it on the day of. Like, by midnight, I'll have, I don't know how many freaking, like...
I just checked YouTube, like, that same day, and I forgot it came out. And it's, like, immediately, like, two things, like 10 o'clock or whatever. They're like, oh, this ending explained with credits and everything. I was like, dude, not everybody has free time like that. Chill.
Right, I don't have that kind of money. Like, I need to build my checkup. Like, let's see, notes and word. All right. Well, then we can bring you on. You come on in and we'll talk about the Marvels movie again. That'll be next episode. This is the season finale of this this podcast this season 1. We're on Attack on Titan right now, Badger, and we're on the finales of finales, and we're hoping to bring the Marvels starting for season 2. So I'm excited. So I'm ready to go over that because, again, from what I'm seeing, it's a big connection to what's all going on. So
with the Marvels,
with MCU in general. So yes. So you heard the Attack on Titan? Yes, it is nuts. It is nuts. We're right in the middle of it. If you followed, definitely keep on tune in. And then we went over Loki. So if you've seen Loki, that again, culmination was perfect.
Dude, that one was great.
So we're gonna end just as good of our finale, because just like Loki, we want to end, just as strong, and we're doing both the finales. So back to Zeke pops out. Levi catches him.
Yes.
Without a freaking thought, bro.
He just moves in.
Just kills him.
Yep.
He didn't even breathe, but homie at that moment knew he was about to die. He was just like, hey, am I the guy you've been looking for? Right here. Yeah, so it was pretty intense to see that moment, and then again he's like, man, he was right. It's these moments that I should have took in, and he's seeing the landscape or whatever, and then just decap. And that's after the fact, right? After he had gotten injured, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he already
had gotten bitten, because
at that point, yeah. Because at that point they already tried exploding Aaron's nape, and it wasn't going according to plan, and they were fighting off all the other Titans, and I think he got bitten by that point.
And then who was the one that got stabbed? Peak or Peck or something like that? You know, like just that was, and that was a what Titan?
The Cart Titan.
Cart Titan. No. She's Cart, but who stabbed her?
That was
Armored?
That was the Warhammer Titan, but that one was specifically the Warhammer Titan that Eren had eaten. So she got brought back, and that pitchfork just straight through her.
Okay. That was on that island, right?
Yeah.
The very first one where he like grew power, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's see. That happened when he did that. The rumbling stopped.
Yeah.
Like immediately, all of the
Everybody
giants
just stopped.
stopped. Yeah. And that was pretty intense. Like that moment again. This show pushed boundaries, bro. Like you're seeing these people just running from their homes. They're being herded into this canyon, this mountain, yes. And then that red scarfed baby you seen like where they're like this baby can't die, like we gotta take him down.
Like everybody's falling off this cliff into the water, but we're like about to be crushed too. But we don't want to have the baby just drop. If there's a chance, let him go.
I like that moment right there was so intense.
Yeah.
Like and then it just stopped, and now the baby's not crying. Like they're just holding him in the air, and I didn't know that was Zeke's purpose. I didn't know he was the one controlling that part of the whole problem.
Originally he that's the only way Eren would have been able to do anything, because he needed royal blood. If he's not in physical contact with somebody of royal blood, then he would never have access to the founding Titan powers. So Zeke dying at that moment disconnected him from the founding power. But then right after that, doesn't it like start up again? Do they start? No, they don't start moving again, huh?
They stop moving.
Yeah.
It goes to then that's when they Jean took advantage and to detonate the bomb around Eren's neck, and so he took that chance. They finally made it happen. That was that intensity part where Homegirl kept transforming and then like coming back, transforming and go,
she's like, I can keep going no matter how.
He's like, you think I'm naive to not know how to be battle ready for a war? Like, you know what I mean? And so every time they came for her neck, she's like, pop out, like, and then right next to, ooh.
But she's the only one that could do it as many transformations.
Why is that? If you don't mind.
Because each Titan, their powers require a certain level of like stamina.
Okay.
So like the Colossal Titan, you'll be able to turn into it maybe once a day, especially with that explosion ability. But the Armored Titan could turn into like 2-3 times. The female Titan's like 4 or 5 times, because she has pretty decent stamina. The Jaw Titan, a few times a day. But Peak's Cart Titan has such endurance that she could stay in Titan form for months at a time and do it like.
I remember when she got introduced that she was talking about that. Like, I've been a Cart Titan for a while long already.
She had to use crutches to stand up straight because she's used to walking around on all 4. Like, it's amazing how long she could stay in it. But she's able to transform several times.
Oh my goodness! It was just like, it just came back in, boom! Like,
you see her like in the ball, and she's like, and then she even says, "Just like, I wish I could have that like Omni gear."
That was freaking intense. I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that's when he was able to go into, finally detonate the neck bomb. And then that's where they see that snake or that little worm trying to find that body.
Yeah.
And they used Armin's explosion to try to kill the body entirely, right? Or something like that.
They're trying to separate everything.
Yeah, separate everything entirely. So they used his explosion, and that's when they were shocked about that creature still being alive after that. They were just like, yo, like,
Yeah.
if his explosion didn't kill it, then what are we?
What are we gonna do?
You know what I mean?
And then what was it? They're like, we can't let it get in contact with Aaron, because if he does, it's all gonna be for nothing. This is gonna happen again.
Yeah. But by it gonna happen again, the rumbling would begin again.
That's what they were thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Because as far as they know, they don't know
that Zeke is correlated to the rumbling.
Yeah, they're like, that thing controls everything at this point. That's the reason Aaron lived and became this huge old monster.
Then they find they attempted to destroy the warm light, so they did destroy it right afterwards. Let's see.
You know, there was a lot of people that didn't like the fact that some of the Titans, the like previous Titans, helped out the scouts and everything.
Why is that?
A lot of people are like, oh, just convenient. You know, they're like, it's too convenient for them to help the Titans and everything. Like, if Ymir wanted them not to succeed, she could have just stopped everybody and this and that. But I'm like, yes, but you got to think from like two different points in my eyes. I'm like, one, Aaron is in charge right now, and he wants his people to have free will. You want to fight against me? Do it. He's like, we'll see who wins. But then also, I'm like, Ymir is still duty bound to the royal family. So as much as she wants to be disconnected from it, she also knows that this is what has to happen. Like, I'm going to fight against you guys because that's what I want to do, but there's still some part of me and your guys' personality that is going to fight to stop this. So that's why I like those
like
ones.
the duty bound, but still like their will was mixed. There was a fight between the will and then the what they needed to do.
Yeah, and that's why like when they talk to Zeke and Armin, all like you see Zeke's the one that was playing catch with him come and help out. You see the brothers Gilliard and the other one, the two small jaw titans, come and help out. You see Armin talk to Berthold and he like wipes out a few, but some people are like, oh, that's just convenient. I was like, no, that was their personalities popping through finally.
Because they're somewhat in control.
Yeah, like everybody has their thought pattern still.
Mm-hmm. That was I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. So I just saw it was under control of Zeke. I didn't see it, their personality coming through to help out. Oh, that was that moment of clarity when they all popped up, right? At the paths.
And you all see,
and
you see them all in the path.
Okay. Now
and Armin and Zeke are like, will you guys help us stop this? And that's when everybody like changed sides. But I was like, even with those little bits that you have, you still have an army of previous Titans coming at you. Yeah,
and again, the beauty of the fights, the way it was all working, like it was just intense, like the artistry, the blood, the gore, the fight scenes in general, like where the armor titan like clothesline that one dude, just like you knocked it down. Homegirl coming in with her heel kicks. The female titan.
Yeah, so she did really. It was really cool to see those things animated.
But again, it goes back to having John, who's the other guy, Levi and Connie. Normal people, no powers, up in the mix, like, they were down. Like, we going out to the end, you know what I mean? And
I want to put Levi in there. Levi is different. Levi and Mikasa are not as normal as Connie and John.
Okay. In advancement, you mean?
Their strength level is completely different. They're basically human titans.
What?
Like, I know in the anime it didn't show it, and it kind of made me upset.
So why are you gonna bring this up now? Like, why?
In the manga, it said that the Ackermans were experimented on to see if they could.
Okay. And they're both Ackermans?
Yeah, Levi and Mikasa. Yes.
I think I remember. They didn't go into depth.
They didn't go into
I think they mentioned their last name.
They're both Ackermans, and they're unaffected by the memory wiping ability, I believe, of the founder.
But.
Yeah.
Okay.
That comes into play later, trust me. I know. Because when I heard that, I was like, But they were supposed to be immune to the memory wiping's abilities, but they were also experimented on to see if they could make humans into Titans, like with the abilities of Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't exactly do it, but what they did was they gave humans the strength of Titans in human form, but they also gave them, which is why Levi and Mikasa are so damn powerful, is they basically gave them the paths for just their clan. So when the Ackermans are activated, they have to have somebody they want to like protect or something, and whoever they want to protect or whatever, they are told, hey, like, come help me or whatever, do this, do that, and the Ackermans are like triggered, and from
that's
that
why
point
homie,
on,
went off on the ape. Zeke, right, when they were at the stronghold and everybody was dying when he was throwing the boulders.
Oh yeah.
That's why he went ham
like
afterwards.
you could see the level of like. I think Levi was already activated at that point because he was he's never been injured by a Titan before, but he was the strongest soldier they ever had. Here comes Mikasa right behind him, and the reason Mikasa was able to catch up so damn quickly to Levi's like level of strength, Levi has more experience, but Mikasa caught up so quick because all Ackermans share the battle experiences of the previous Ackermans that lived. So
they got XP without getting XP. Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, they don't start at 1, they're like already at
what is it? Share XP Pokemon.
Yeah. No, but it's even like 10 times as powerful because you're like, oh, you don't gain XP as you fight. Like
you
Pokemon,
already have it.
You have his experience on top of his experience on top of this one's experience put into you, and then as you fight, you gain your experience with it. So that's why the Ackermans are so damn strong. Like they're incredibly like.
So they miss at least that part as far as like anime.
Yeah, like Levi was supposed to explain it, or not Levi.
Mikasa.
Zeke was supposed to explain it, but they never really did. So that
in this part right here.
No, like. Final or season part 1.
Okay.
Like all the way back then.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. Okay. Well then, yeah, they their will just looks that much better. Yeah, now it makes sense. I guess you know what I mean. So Levi is just different from the whole group at all, but nonetheless, they're in the mix. They're surrounded by all these all these old Titans. Mm-hmm. The part that gets me, I think, was in the mix of all this was when they mention it is they were still fighting the Eldians and the
Marleyans.
Yes. You know what I mean? Like they were still pointing guns at each other
because they didn't trust each other. At this point, all they see is you have the ability to turn into Titans, and we don't know if you will. Like as far as we know, each and every one of you can, But I mean, at the same time, that rationale is wrong too because they know you have to ingest the spinal fluid of a Titan in order to become a pure Titan, which is the ones that just have no mind, let alone a shifter. The shifters eat a Titan shifter in order to gain their ability, but they know they can't turn into Titans, but they're like, I think it's that fear of we suppressed you for so long.
What would make me think that I'm safe, because you say so. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, you've been suppressed for so long, and you have the ability to turn into a Titan, and all this is going on. We don't know if you think they're right, for all we know. Like, shoot.
So then, that was one part that I was just like, dang, man. Like, it's just like, they do not. And then it comes to, what you're saying here in a minute. That worm releases that gas, mm-hmm. and then they start transforming into Titans that they were, you were just mentioning because they had that, gene in them. Mm-hmm. At that point, that's when they were on that Falcon. Mikasa was on there, and then they were like, "Hey, this is your moment." Like, but she can't, grasp the moment that she's in right now.
Yeah,
Everything
she's
is
like
just
kind of off.
I just want to, be, back to normal or whatever. And that's when she like flashes back, or she flashes into this reality where apparently she, went off to live her life with Aaron, and that was pretty touching. You know what I mean? Like, well, is that comic book?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
That's
so like, I was just like, or manga, oriented. So they were there, and she's like, I must have, dozed off. You know what I mean? Like, and then again, they talked a little bit about, oh well, maybe we need to go inside, and then she says, no, I think she like at that moment realizes that that's not her reality. She's like, I don't think I'm need to be alive here or need to be here or something like that.
Something
like, along those lines.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how that scene ends. It was like with a hug, right?
Yeah. How it ends is Aaron passes away because his 13 years are up. Like, you can't outlive the 13-year curse. So when he passes, she goes up to him, and I think she like hugs and like kisses his forehead, and she's like, I'll see you soon, or see you again, and whatever. And then it like she pops back into that
in that fight, right?
But I'm like, what I love about that scene is that scene takes place directly after another scene that happened in the first chapter 4 finale or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know if you remember when Aaron like is talking to her at like the carnival during Marley
on the top of the mountain or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, "What am I to you?" And when she's like, "Oh well, your family or whatever or something," like he's like, "Okay." Like, and he like accepted it. He's like, if you had said anything different, that like that other reality that we saw would have been what they did, like that they would have ran off together, and it just like damn, like they could have been happy for like the last 4 years.
There's all this like speculative like multiversal like what ifs like
know
what I mean, like what are the chances of all this happening at the same time,
right?
Goodness. With Marvel and everything, so dang, that's crazy. So that was like a little like throwback to that little scene there, like if it would have happened.
Yeah, they would have ran off together.
Wow. Yeah. So and then in that reality, that was the end of the 13. That was why they were he was gonna die. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then that part what did they do to blow up the jaw? I can't remember. I know Armin is fighting, what's his name at this point, right? Aaron. They're going hand to hand, like
after Armin explodes and knocks out that big old construct that was Aaron. That everybody's like, okay, we did this. We just need to keep that thing away from him. And then freaking Aaron, same explosion, turns into a colossal titan. And a lot of people didn't like that. They're like, does he have the founding powers or not? Because without Zeke, he shouldn't have it. But I was like, at this point, what's her name kind of handed it over. But a lot of people are like, if she handed over the founding titan power to Aaron, then the rumbling would have never stopped. But the rumbling stopped because that disconnect happened before she handed it over in my eyes.
So they're now messing with the lore in a way?
Yeah.
Okay. So he shouldn't have been able to pop that body out.
Yeah, he should never have been able to do a colossal transformation. The most he could do.
But he had all 7, right?
No, he only had 3. Because Armin still has the colossal. They have the armored, the female, and the cart, and then the jaw.
Right. So he only has 2, or he has 3.
He has 3. Where's the 4th one? So we have Armin as the colossal, what's her name? Reiner as armored, Annie as the female, Falco as the jaw, Peak as the cart.
So
Warhammer's Aaron, Attack Titan is Aaron, and Founding Titan is Aaron. We're missing 1. There's 9 shifters. I can't remember it.
I don't know. I want to see if you know.
Dude, like, it's bad because I'm like, I know. Oh, the Beast. the Beast Titan.
Which
But that was
is
Zeke.
right?
But with him dying, it would have went to a random baby. That's the best.
That would be crazy.
That's the best, especially since it stopped crying right when the rumbling stopped. So yeah, that Beast Titan probably would have transferred. But yeah, so technically he should never have gotten to be able to turn into the Colossal Titan.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
But in my eyes, I was like, well, with that disconnect, without Zeke, the rumbling's gonna stop. You needed that founding power, but at this point, what's her name's like, screw it, here you go, and like just hands over everything, and then he transferred. And then,
so I didn't know there were so many stipulations to these, Titans. I mean, it's been such a while throughout all this.
Yeah.
But so then
Armin
he's going at it, and he's like, give me into the jaw.
Yeah, because he's in the mouth, because that's the best place for him to hide.
And so that was the last thing that I thought was pretty freaking intense, where she like flies in there, eyes open, decap.
But what's so sad about it, because you see him when she flies in there, she's ready, and then you see Aaron like open his eyes and like look at her, and he's like, and she just has to do it. She has to go through with it.
What do you think about the kiss?
A lot of people hate it. I'm over there like, that was her only time to be true to herself.
With no one around?
Yeah, with nobody around. This is the only time where she was able to be like let her feelings out, because she never wanted to say it before. And I think this is her just like, I at least have to show it,
Bree was like, oh no, please don't tell me this. She's like, she did. She kissed a decapitated head. Like,
well, it's still fresh.
They're still moving in the lips, still warm in the.
Still warm, yeah. There's still blood. But yeah,
she was tripping on that for sure.
I was like, for me, it was just like, I think it was just her having to like, finally like be like, I'm not gonna hide it no more. And
I loved you.
Yeah. And she's like, and it was like, I loved you, and I'm sorry now. So
then that was where it goes now to the final part, which was toward the tree on that hill. And this was what confused me, is when it started going into those flashbacks now, where he was there were kids. It was Armin and Aaron talking about how they were wanting to be Titans or something like that, right? Or
they wanted to see the different areas.
Yeah, and then that's when basically Aaron is breaking down it all, right? So that's what got me, was, when did this happen? I was like, this never happened. I was like, this wasn't on any episode where there was a recap. I was like, what's going on? I don't remember him talking to Armin about this stuff, and so it was to the point when they got to the blood pools that it got real. You know what I mean? Like he was kept telling Armin, I'm sorry, this was just predetermined. This is tell me if I'm wrong, or if I heard this wrong. He was in control that at the time that it grabbed his mother.
Yeah. So
I thought I didn't rewind it on purpose, because I was like, I don't have time. I was like, but when I heard that, I was like, wait, hold up. I was like,
because it wasn't Bertolt's time to die, because otherwise the Smiling Titan would have eaten him. So he's just like, nah, go that way, and guided her to the mom, because I think he basically is like, I need a reason to fight, and my mom dying was a big driving factor for me, so that has to happen according to this. Like, without me doing that, I would never be where I am now, so that has to happen.
Again, when I heard that and I processed it, but it didn't really click, really kind of like, was just like, yo, hold on. So he was there when it was there, before it was there, like, you know what I mean? Like, full circle again. Like
Yep.
the writing comes in full circle. This is just the theme of the show today. Full circle, back to the beginning. Like
It goes all the way, like everything had to happen the way it was set out to happen. So
and the way he screams when he lets him know that he took 80% of the world. Like he's like, y'all succeeded to save 20%.
Yes.
And then just Armin's just shocked. Like what I mean. Like you knew that this was gonna be what happened. Like how could you go through with it? You know what I mean. Like but again his I'm in an agreement to his, reasoning. There will always be bad, like unless we completely clean the slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we would have cleaned the slate, there would have been a chance to save the world.
Yeah.
But because there's always that two sides. There's never one side, just two sides. It's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like. Are you on Aaron's side in a way? Like,
it's a hard thing to do because it's just like, in a way he's right. Like no matter what, because there's gonna be those people with conflicting interest. But at the same time, I was like, even if you just kept everybody on the island alive, there's still gonna be conflicting interest. You have the Jaegerists versus the non-Jaegerists now.
The extremists, or yeah, got you.
I'm like,
that he created, right?
Mm-hmm. You have the people who are there trying to militarize as much as possible, and the people that are like, I want to just live. And it just, now it's just like, okay, well, if you don't fight, you're now against us, basically. And it created that, like, divide. So no matter what you do, there's always going to be that conflict. Granted, it's a much easier to control because it's inside your place versus us versus everybody else. So, I mean, like, it's a pretty deep conversation to have no matter what.
It goes back to he had the strength to do what
needed to be done.
Like
he said, I think he said it when he was talking to Armin. He wasn't what Ymir wanted. It was always Mikasa. Mikasa was the one that was going to change everything for Ymir.
And then to again see you in hell, to have that moment of like, I'll help you go through. I'll go help you go through with this. You know what I mean? Like friends to the end. You know what I mean? Like if it is meant to happen, then let it be. Like who am I? I was like, see you in hell, friend, or something like that. I was like,
damn. I was like. He
he
assigned himself to it. Like, all right, this is what we're doing. Let's go.
I'll help you get through that point. You know what I mean? And then now it's back to that controversy that you were saying of he mind wiped him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he did that to everybody.
Everybody had a conversation with every single person. And then he
in the manga he couldn't do that with Ackermans such as Mikasa and Levi.
Levi, yeah. Which is why I think Mikasa, her conversation that
might have been the flash forward that she had.
May have been. That must have been her way of connecting. But because they say that the headaches that the Ackermans get in the anime, they're like, oh, the headaches that you get are from you trying to fight your design, your like Ackerman DNA. But I believe it's like, it was from what some of us understood, that was you fighting off somebody trying to mess with your mind, trying to control it. So I was like, I think that's what it was, but
that was based off of the manga.
I believe that's what we agreed to before.
Interesting.
But yeah, man, it's a lot no matter what you do with the story. Oh, and to answer your question, every conversation he had was do you remember they were on the boat? Mm-hmm. Yeah, every conversation was all in their heads while he
was on the boat in imprisoned, right? He was imprisoned on the boat at that time. Aaron?
No. I think he was already like starting the rumbling because they were on the boat. That was when Armin was talking to Annie, and they were on the boat like trying.
And
to
then
get
it flashed back to where he was like, "Oh, I was just thinking," or whatever. Okay. Oh no! Then no one had powers right after he was dead. Everyone woke up. Everyone remembered everything. They went through that moment of clarity, like, holy crap! Like, he's a suicidal son of a bitch.
Yes.
Like, why? Like, he had he could have done it, but I guess whatever. Like, we're now free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were 3 years later. They were showing that the Jaegerists became even more radicalized because they weren't trusting the Eldians. That was when all of the group of people that did what they did to kill, Aaron, were going to meet with them, right? Like, to try to convince them, like, hey, like, this isn't the way to go.
Yeah.
Like, this was the reason why it was even done in the first place, so let's just stop,
The Jaegerists are Eldians. Because every one of them was on the Island of Paradise.
So they were against the...
They were against the rest of the world still. They're like, we have to prepare because even though Aaron knocked out 80%, they're still technically like technologically advanced than what we are. So we have to catch up. So we have to do
because they were put on that island. That's right. Okay. And then they were trying to do that again, the peace thing between everybody to the
world, like peace, all that stuff. Yeah,
like, please, like, just stop. This was the purpose of this dude. Why he did it all. Like, let's become one so that way we can make this world better. And then so this is where I'm excited to talk to you about as well. Is so what happens there on the ending credits. Mm-hmm. Those were the last final, snippets of the manga where it was like playing through a time, and again, we missed this part, but during Mikasa's flash forward or flash possibility, he tells her to give away the scarf when he dies, what I mean? And then like it goes to that part where she's like there with him, everybody's gonna come visit you. Plays a little snippet of everyone, stopping by, and then because she was that was their tree, right?
Yeah, she buried like that was the thing too. Like after she killed him, everybody's like all happy and excited, and she's like, "I'm gonna leave right now." She's like, "They won't give him proper burial if I were to stay here." So she took off and buried him underneath the tree that they always used to run to on that hill.
Yeah, that was a beautiful moment. That was a good one right there. And then it flashes forward all those seasons,
like
and then it shows her with the flowers, like she passed herself, but she's kept the scarf.
The scarf.
Oh man, that was a tearjerker. That was a tearjerker.
What's see in the manga? I'm pretty sure it shows she had a kid, and we don't know who the father is, but she's married because she does have the ring, and we're like, okay, who the hell was it?
What? There was a clip of a ring
on
the manga?
When you see her...
what? I gotta go see that. I didn't see that.
I'm pretty sure like it's when she's dead and she's holding flowers, you could see like the slight ring on there.
Oh.
And she does get married, but everybody's like, okay, who is it that you were married to? And a lot of people are like speculating John.
Jean?
Yeah. Or Jean, whatever, John.
Yeah.
Because he's always liked her. So they're like, oh,
interesting. Or was that a part of the extended version of the manga?
Yeah, like all the ending credits was like him was the last bit that he added to it.
Yeah. So it did both.
Yeah.
So it did like the original manga ending
was
Mikasa killing him.
Everybody the peace people doing it, whatever. But then the extended ending was showing all that time that passes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I was like,
that's what's up. Oh my goodness, was he a part of the ending? The original writer, right? He made sure that.
I'm not sure. I know he
to the end.
I think he they did discuss stuff. But that's why people were hoping for a anime only ending. But no, they like adapted it straight over.
for it. And then that was crazy. Was that last little bit where, in the end, war was inevitable.
Yeah.
Like that
Like,
was
no
where,
matter what you
like
do, yeah.
no matter what, like it was that, saw this tree grow. Then these cities were still fighting. These small small things of fights, and then it goes to like the big deal where it was like nukes,
nukes and stuff,
came and
yes.
like blew up the city. You know what I mean? And then full circle, kid running away, survived all the nukes in Parody City or whatever, and found the tree with the hole that may lead to
being
the
another
Titan.
Titan. Yep.
Like,
And that tree was the same one Aaron was buried under. So
where
just like,
he
damn.
took Armin or Yemen's or
Ymir's.
Ymir's,
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
It's amazing. But a lot of people too were like, so Mikasa was such a big part of this because without her, Ymir would have never been set free. Ymir was hoping Mikasa would do what she never could, because I don't know if you remember Mikasa had a flash forward but in a different reality, where Ymir had a flash backwards but in a different reality. Like,
What part was this?
right when Mikasa cuts her head off, or
In that like crystal mountain, when they were all in the mountain or whatever, and
No, so not Mikasa's flash forward, but Ymir's like little pass thing. Right when Mikasa cuts Aaron's head off, after the whole kiss and everything, she turns and she's like, "Were you the one always watching us? Were you the one guiding this, basically?"
okay, yeah.
And then it kind of flashes to what could have been, where instead of jumping in front of the spear to protect the king, Ymir just stands there and holds the daughters, and the king dies, and she lives her life with her girls and everything, and that's it. Like, it ends. Like, no Titans ever get passed on because nobody ever eats her and everything. So, but she always wanted the king to love her, and she loved the king even though he cut off her tongue and everything, and she was just a slave, and she just I love him no matter what, and that's why she protected him. So her whole thing was, I need somebody that loves somebody the way I love the king, but to do the opposite, kill them and allow them to die, let go of that love for the greater purpose. And which is why Mikasa was at the end chosen. She killed Eren knowing that as much as she loved him, everybody else needed to be saved.
God. We could have ended this show any better than these two finales, again, because the burden of you need to be the bigger man. You gotta do it for the glorious purpose. Your main reason in this world is for this one moment in time.
Yeah, exactly. Everything was guided for you to be exactly where you needed to be set up as. Both of them ended like that.
Chills, holy crap! What a way to end this season here on the Hydeout, yo. It was good. Again, both of them well done, well animated, well scored. All the way to the glorious purpose, the full circle, nothing missed, everything retouched. Just when you thought you knew everything, there was something else that could that changed the
narrative.
It
just
woo man, get this out of here. Man, guys, again, I hope y'all enjoy this. This is what we do it for. The moments like this, again, for animation, to end this way, or I'm glad it ended this way, not on a flat note. It gave us what he said, the regular ending the extended ending, and we got all our answers. All our questions answered.
Well, for the most part, I mean, people are always going to debate.
Yeah, like you were saying, some were mad that there was the Titans went against the founder, all that. But again, those are just different opinions.
Yeah, at this point, it's all different opinions.
Now it's done. Now talk what ifs all you want. Now you know what I mean. So there's no going back. That there won't. It was done right again. Finished properly. And the writer was there for it. We were here for it. We made it, guys. It's done. Attack on Titan's finally finished. So go watch it all. Started, high intensity all the way through.
All the way through.
And then, like he said about that gentleman, at work, it gave us characters that we were so passionate about that, you have to go back and, genuinely watch it.
Just rewatch it. Enjoy it again and see. Because now that a certain time things happen, now you're going to be like, well, what did I miss over here?
Like what we talked about way back when before the show was he hit his head and the little, thing of smoke was coming out when he injured himself.
Yes, because
no one remembered, no one caught that little thing that he was a Titan at that point in time, you know what I mean? So, things like that, it comes full circle. You now know what to look at the certain parts, So, again, guys, this was our finale with these finales.
Finale of finales.
The finale of finales. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. We hope to bring season 2 with some different concepts. We want to, bring, again, the conversation to you guys. Try different things. We'll hopefully, bring new things to our platforms on, social media, YouTube, TikTok, hopefully, so on and so forth. And, again, thank y'all guys for, tuning in every week. And with some missing, without being informed, you are still here. So, thank you guys. We will be definitely coming for season 2. So stay tuned for all, things MCU, DCU, and anime, right here at the Hydeout. And, we'll catch y'all next season. That's it. We'll see y'all next time. Sayonara. Signing out. Peace.
Later, guys.
All right, guys. Y'all be safe.